too, where like there was like no bad guy. I guess
Yeah.
the bad guy part was like Jonathan Majors finesses him like he had a plan to break the guy.
I kind of like that part. I don't know. It felt weird.
Well, I think
I wish there was like more. I don't know. It just,
I don't know. I liked it because he did straight up ask him.
Yeah.
He didn't want it to play out that way. He asked him. Like he kept trying to ask him to get the fight. But they all knew that, like, hey, you can't just give some 40-year-old fighter who's not even ranked a title fight. Like, some weird stuff like that would have to happen. So then again, that made sense too. But that was a kind of odd where you're like, oh, that was kind of weird. I thought it would have been fine if it like organically happened. Like Drago's a hothead, like he broke his hand. I don't really think they needed to do that.
No, that's it. I don't like that how it I guess came to be. I wish he had like a couple fights. That's what I would have liked to see. Some Jonathan Majors have like a few fights. And then, like, he keeps, like, creasing everyone.
And then he fights that guy and knocks him out. Yeah, and they just fast forward through it.
Or
they
like,
just fast forward through all the fights.
If
like,
him and that, I forgot, whatever. Michael B. Jordan's #1 prospect. That kid, and then he had, like, a buddy. He's like, fine, man, fuck it. Make him fight on my undercard. And then he knocks the shit out of him.
Yeah, and they could have
then he fights him, and then bam.
Yeah.
Maybe it would have been too long.
And they could have, like, fast forwarded through that part. I know they want to drag the movie along, which I'm glad it wasn't a long movie either. I'm glad they
it was 2 hours.
Yeah, that's, like I said, we've been harping on that. I think 2 hours is, like, a perfect time for a movie.
I agree.
Unless it's, like, the end of your trilogy, the final.
There are exceptions.
Yeah, I mean, there are.
Speaking.
I mean, Endgame was good. There's plenty of the good throughout.
Yeah.
I just think you lower the risk of your movie being bad if you do it 3 or less than 3 hours.
100%.
But I totally agree with you. I do think instead of like the lame fast track to him, his first fight being for the belt, him winning.
Yeah.
Like I would have just been like, hey, I'm an amateur now. I want to fight every month, and they kind of just like do a montage of him knocking 5 people out, and then finally he fights that guy. Instead of him sparring with them and all that, like, that's where I would have done it like that. But whatever. Like it
is what it is.
Like I said,
it's not a big deal.
Yeah, but that's why we do this show, to kind of nitpick it. I don't want to do all the good things, but I would say that was the only thing I kind of found a little corny, where they're like, oh, they couldn't find any other fighter but this guy he was sparring with, so they break his hand.
Sorry.
Yeah, and then it was just like kind of quick. Like you said, should have just done a couple fights, maybe 2, 3 fights. You know what I mean? Some vicious knockout.
Build it.
He knocks out one of that guy's friends, like you said, one of that guy's friends in his second fight. And I thought that would have been just a better way to do it.
Yeah, introduce it.